Hi everyone and welcome to Service for the Community. I'm your host Matt Blow and today we have Jeff Lichty from the Rotary and Thomas Middleton from the Optimist Club. How are you doing today, gentlemen?
Good. Doing great. Glad to be here.
Let's start with you, Tom. I know the first thing we want to talk about is your group recently honored a student. Tell us about that.
We have our Optimist meetings are at 7:30 Wednesday mornings, and we have a variety of speakers come in. But one of our programs is honoring a student from each one of the elementary schools.
Okay.
And this week we had Ethan from Springfield Plains.
Okay.
And what we do in prep for that is give the principal the Optimist Creed, and then say, find a student in your school that represents the Optimist Creed, the things that are in there. And so quite often the principal will send the Optimist Creed along to all of his teachers and say, we want to pick Optimist wants to pick an outstanding student for the year from Springfield Plains and honor them. And so there's always quite a process where the teachers get together. Some years the teacher says, as soon as we saw it, the same name came up throughout the whole school. Other years there's some discussion back and forth to pick it. Ethan was one that was one of those that, oh yeah, it's going to be Ethan.
Of course.
And they went through each aspect of the creed, and it promotes health. One of the things is talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel there is something in them. With Ethan, we have one that says, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature a smile. Well, from the time the young man stood up there with the principal and his teacher, he was just grinning from ear to ear. That was not, he didn't have to work at that at all. He is just a real outstanding student, very helpful, and it was an honor to honor him. We invite his parents in. His grandparents were there also, a couple brothers and sisters, and we have a breakfast and do the honors at that Wednesday morning breakfast.
Sure.
And next month we'll honor 3 schools. This one, we just did 1 school that day, but we do as many as 3 schools at a meeting. And I think it's educational not only for the student, but for their principals, principals and teachers, to kind of look at their student body, not just for academics, but for all around student.
Sure.
And I think they kind of like to be able to honor one of those students, and our program does that. It also does a lot for our membership. They get to see the good things that kids are doing, and there's some fabulous kids there in the Clarkston school system.
Now it generally works where you acknowledge one student at every elementary school a year?
Yes.
Or do you ever do multiple students in a year? Or
No,
not really?
This is Optimist Outstanding for Springfield Plains for the year.
Right.
They're the Optimist student, and it's so they're special.
Sure.
And they truly are special kids.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's great that you can acknowledge, like you said, beyond academics, beyond maybe certain athletic or other achievements, that just, hey, who embodies optimistic qualities? And it's always great to hear that there's teachers that go, oh, it's clearly Johnny, Sally, whoever it is. It's nice to get acknowledged in that way.
So we enjoy it. It's one of our better meetings. All our Wednesday morning meetings, you have to be an optimistic to get up at 7:30 on Wednesday morning.
True.
But
is that how you weed people out who can come to the group?
Yes. So it does that. So
Fair.
So okay.
Awesome. Now, Jeff, you want to talk about the Student Youth Exchange first.
Yeah, we'll continue along this theme.
Of course.
There are good kids coming up, and the world will be in good hands
in
the future. Sometimes we wonder, but no, we see a lot of good kids. So we've talked a little bit on this program about the long-term youth exchange program, which is an academic year overseas. But there's a much smaller one, less daunting than a full year, and that's our summer program.
Okay.
So in this case, your son or daughter
Sure.
would get on a plane, fly to the country of their choice,
Okay.
and spend 3-4 weeks with that family, and then that son or daughter would fly back and spend 3 or 4 weeks with you. So there's no school involved. There's no
Grades.
no
Yeah.
no grades,
Grades.
no visa. And with today's technology, the two families will have gotten together a long time ahead of time, so they know who's coming and what they're going to do, and they get to set the dates.
Okay.
So it's not the school system setting the dates; it's the parents. So it's a real good way to get introduced to another country.
It's very much a snapshot of it's not you're not signed up like you said the whole academic year. It's just a quick month in the summer.
Correct. Yeah, and so you're not going to learn a language,
Sure.
but you will get introduced to the culture,
Of course.
and you'll meet some really neat people. So
Do you ever have
app-
students that try to do like over time, like multiple 1 month snapshots, or you just try to kind of limit it to one kind of per person, so to speak?
Well, it'll be one summer, because
Okay.
if you spend 1 month in Germany and then they come spend 1 month here, pretty much the summer's all shot.
Sure.
But we do have kids that go 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
So maybe they do it the summer of their junior year, and then do it a gap year before they go to
Right.
college or something like
Okay.
that. So,
Interesting.
and then what we find is often the older sibling has done this, and then the younger one looks at it and goes, "That was such a good idea. I'd really like to go for the full year, though.
Yeah.
That's none of this short-term stuff. I want
okay.
to go
I see, I
long-term."
see.
So. But no matter which one they do, it's an exciting program.
Oh, of course.
And again, the same kind of thing that Tom was talking about. Those are the kinds of kids that really excel at this kind of thing. So it's fun.
Of course. I mean, it's interesting that you could, obviously the whole year is you learn a lot more, you learn the language and things, but it's interesting that you could have a student that over the course of many summers have kind of multiple little snapshots of different, very different cultures in just kind of a quick time.
Yeah, your point, very different. So maybe you do a European country this year,
Yeah.
and then do an Asian country next year.
Sure.
So that's a very good point.
Those
Sounds
travels
very
are a tremendous learning experience. I know our son
course.
in high school went to Japan for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks one summer, and then the following summer, the person that he stayed with in Japan came and stayed with us. And it was quite a growing experience for our son. And I think people treated him differently after he came back, and people would be talking about a foreign country, and he'll say, when I was there, and
Right.
all of a sudden people, they pay more attention
Sure.
to young kids, and
You have
give
firsthand
them more
experience about
respect.
what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep. So
Well, I think even as parents and family, even it's obviously a big learning experience for the student, but the parents must get a nice takeaway as well, because you have a different person with a different culture living at your house for a month. It's an interesting element of it as well.
Yep.
And we've talked with parents that when my son went, and they said when they come home, they treat their child differently, because now you want to be involved in every one of their decisions, and then when they're gone for a month or so,
Right.
that hey, you haven't been there to coach them on their decision.
Right.
They make pretty good decisions by
Yeah.
themselves.
Sure,
and
sure.
you don't realize that as they're growing up, but when they're away for that time, you start to realize, yes, they can make good decisions. So,
Yeah, and that really comes home on the long-term program.
Yeah.
We send a child away and get an adult back. And some parents aren't so sure about that.
so
Fascinating. Now, Tom, you also wanted to talk to us about you guys have a trivia night. I
yes,
believe,
we
coming up?
have a trivia night, our major fundraiser. Every year we do a major fundraiser to support these programs, these breakfasts and scholarships that we give. We give about 4 scholarships every year. And then we do other activities throughout the year. We work with the Friendly Forest with Independence Township. We cooperate with them. We work with groups to put on the Independence 4th of July parade and things like that. And we have to have funds to do that. This year we're going to do trivia night. It's going to be at Deer Lake Athletic Club, right there on White Lake Road. White Lake and Dixie. And we've tried other things. We did Denim and Diamonds, where we tested our athletic ability riding riding the bull and see if you could stay on. Last year we did Day of Elegance, of dancing, our artistic attitudes come out. This year we're bringing our mental attitude and experiences to the table. And we have a professional trivia company that works with us. And and that's going to be March 4th.
March 4th. Okay.
Our tickets are $60 a piece.
Okay.
But we have members that go to Florida and things in the wintertime and aren't there for that. So we have raffle tickets. They're $5 a piece or 5 for $20. And we have sponsorships, businesses that believe in helping youth in the Clarkston community, that they buy sponsorship or buy ads in our booklet. So there's quite a few different ways to help support it. It's a major event. Our club works hard at putting this event on, and so that's one of our big things coming up.
Do you know what kind of trivia questions will be asked, or what kind of categories, or is it on the hush-hush?
Yeah, it's on the hush. That's why we're hiring a company to do it, because I think people would tend to want to overload it with certain areas where you're comfortable.
Sure.
And the couple that run this, it's a sideline for them. They are at the Taps. They do a trivia night there, and some of the other restaurants around.
Oh, okay.
And ironically, she works, I'd like to say a young couple, and she works for Google.
Oh, wow.
So, and we're talking, we haven't finalized it yet, if you're going to be able to buy Google, if you have a question and buy Google.
That
or
wouldn't
call
be
a
fair,
friend.
no.
So, but it's going to be a fun night, and it's March 4th.
March 4th.
At Deer Lake Athletic Club. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
Awesome. Sounds like it could be a real fun time.
We will. We'll have a good time. So.
Now, Jeff, you wanted to talk with, and I might say it wrong, but I believe it's the Rotary Youth Leadership Award?
Correct.
Okay.
You got it right. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so this is a ways out, but it'll be here before we know it, April 22nd. And what it is any high school student who has an idea of wanting to be a leader, it's a weekend devoted to leadership skills.
Okay.
So they'll meet some people who are in that kind of a business. They'll meet a lot of other students. There'll be about 250, give or take.
Okay.
Kids. We go up to the YMCA camp in Holly.
Okay.
Take it over for the weekend, and
So is it kind of like a lock-in kind of style, or?
kind of,
Okay.
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And kids come back just raving about it. Sounds to me like they have too much fun and not enough work, but I don't know about that.
So it's any kind of leadership position, whether it be in business or community or I guess politics or anything like that. It's any kind of leadership.
Yeah. So if you're an optimist and you would like to run the Joy Club next year, you'd like to be the president of the Joy Club. That's the kind of person we're looking for. Or the student government, if they'd like to be it. We've had some members from Rush. And their leadership skills. So, and it tends to be kids are a little more timid. And not sure, and this is a way to go see
Break
if
them
they
out of their
really want
shell.
to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Or students who really want some more tools to be able to help their club along. So,
Interesting.
for those groups. So it's like I say, they talk too much about having fun. So sometimes I wonder.
Well, hopefully it's fun and learning. Hopefully it's both. But yeah.
So get a hold of the school knows something about it, or any Rotarian.
Okay.
And you can even call an optimist, and they'll steer them
help you out
our
too,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking to those leadership skills, and we help.
Sure.
We help the schools with a program called Leader in Me, and it's to bring out those leadership skills that I think maybe education had not been real strong in teaching leadership, and so service organizations have stepped in to do some of that.
To kind of help fill
Fill that
what could
gap.
be that gap. Yeah.
So, good, so.
Now, Jeff, I think there was one last thing you wanted to talk about today, and I believe you talked about it before, but it's polio.
Yes. We had some really exciting news. During the month of September and most of October, the entire world was polio-free. Wow. And then we did pick up a few more cases later on in the fall, but there were 35 cases of polio worldwide last year. And if you reflect back to the 80s when we had 350,000 cases a year, so it's a huge drawdown. And most of those 35 were in the spring. So we're really optimistic that this year, next year, we are going to eliminate it. And unfortunately, right now, the only reason we won't is money. That these immunizations cost money. They take people, they take time, they take organization. The vaccine itself is cheap. It's only about 60 cents per, but it's getting it to the middle of no place.
Right.
And the technology is it's got to stay cold. Which for us doesn't sound like much, particularly in the month of January.
Yeah.
However, if you're talking about hauling this across the desert where there is no electricity and an ice pack is the only thing that's going to keep it cold, it's a challenge. But we're optimistic, and I think it's going to happen, and it will be the second disease eliminated from the face of the earth.
Now you say it was for a month and a half. It was eliminated, but then it kind of is that just because it can lay dormant, or is there some other element that like springs it back, or
mostly it's the reported case and the dormancy. It does take a while to get there, and for every case we actually see, there are about 199 cases where somebody just gets a cold. It's a real mild form of it.
Gotcha.
It's not the one that leads to paralysis or to death.
Right.
Polio can actually kill you. So it's there.
Right.
And then again, we're down to the points. We're up in the mountains of Afghanistan. We're in the next to no place up in Pakistan. So getting the information in is a little bit of a problem.
Sure.
But sure. Yeah. And the other one is there's a lot of travel going on. With all the wars going on, people move.
Sure.
And there's a real problem of making sure that kids get the vaccine because they're in one town 1 week and 2 weeks later they're.
You don't want them to miss that time where there's a vaccination possible here, but they left right before, and then it already happened where they're going, and then.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like big steps are being made, and you guys are close.
we're close. Yep.
Yep.
As we say in our advertising, we're this close.
Now, Tom, I believe there was one other thing you wanted to talk about. I believe that was Shiver by the River, which is coming up pretty soon for us.
Well, we're taping this just a few days before Shiver on the River.
Yep.
And the way the weather looks, it could be just huddled by the puddle. But Shiver on the River, we've gotten involved. In fact, the whole idea started when the Optimist was asked about putting in an ice rink at Depot Park. And we put the ice rink up and had it, and then thought, well, we ought to have an Optimist Day at the park, and so we had free hot dogs and things for Optimist members. And anybody that was there, we had hot dogs for them too. And Jenny Schultz came that morning or that afternoon, and she thought it was a great idea and thought we ought to make a big event out of it. And so she asked us we always put the rink up, and then we provide free chili. And she's got the garden club involved and the library club involved and quite a few. Jenny is very persuasive and convinced us all to do it all on the third week in January. And it was a success. Some of the video you just saw was from last year's event. And I guess I had never seen young kids learning how to skate with just a folding chair. You take a folding chair and it works like a walker for them. And
I think I saw one year they had like some PVC pipe.
Yeah, well, and then one of the groups have made walkers or kind of specialized them with PVC pipe, and so it's just a great day in the afternoon. We might have water on the ice. We'll get the water off, and there was about 6 inches of ice in the rink. So I think even this weekend they should be able to use it, but we won't have to use our double overcoats like we have
Right.
some years.
There won't be a
Yeah.
pile
So-
of snow,
yeah.
probably.
But the ice rink is a community thing that the Optimist puts up. I kind of take charge of making sure that we have put more water on to get ice and things. And I've gone at 8 o'clock in the morning and people are out, so I thought, well, I'll come back later. And then during the school, I think, well, maybe I can catch it at noontime and there's somebody out on the ice. And I've learned that's after 10 o'clock at night is when I really can put water on the rink, because that Depot Park, somebody is using it all the time. And it's been a big education for me to see how much the park is used. And I think Rotary, we put some playground equipment on the Rotary Park. The Optimist has, and Rotary has also contributed to that park area at Depot Park. So it's been well worth the expense and the time. So.
And that's, sure by the river, that's Saturday, would that be the 21st? Saturday the 21st? Is that
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And it's 1 to 4, Depot Park, right?
Right. So.
And ITV will hopefully will be there with some students covering the event. We try to cover it when we can and make a nice little piece out of it. So hopefully we'll be there for that. But
Okay.
as we wrap up here, gentlemen, anything else you guys wanted to say or bring up before we kind of wrap up our show today?
So, no.
No.
Other than March 4th, trivia night at Deer Lake Athletic Club, and it's our major fundraiser, and that's how we're able to do things in the community. So.
Yeah, and I think just the standard thing of communities don't happen, they're created by people. So if you would like your community to be a great community, join a service group, get involved, and participate.
Well put.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have today for Service for the Community. We'll see you next time.